The bathroom sparkled, its marble floors so polished they mirrored the ceiling, chrome fixtures that gleamed like diamonds. A shower with more buttons than Eva Morales knew how to use. It was nearly midnight, and this was the last suite of her double shift at the Avalon Grand, San Francisco's most luxurious hotel. She was exhausted beyond words. Eva had been working 14 days straight, covering for her sick roommate and doing extra hours just to cover rent. Her body screamed for rest, but the VIP suite had to be cleaned. A high-profile guest was checking in. She didn't know who, only that the manager had said, "Don't screw it up, Morales." As she entered the bathroom, her jaw dropped. Was the size of her entire apartment? Who even needs a bathroom this big? She muttered, dragging her cleaning cart inside. She scrubbed the sink, polished the mirror, and wiped the floors. When it came time for the tub, she crouched low. Reaching around it, her hands moved automatically. Scrub, rinse, repeat, but her eyes grew heavier. Just 5 seconds, she told herself, resting her head on her arm. Then her body slid onto the closed toilet lid, and she was out. 15 minutes later, Noah Whitaker, CEO of Whitaker Holdings, worth $900 million, and notoriously intolerant of imperfection, walked into the suite, running a hand through his hair. He'd just finished 3 back-to-back investor meetings, dodged an engagement dinner with his ex, and flown in from Tokyo. All he wanted was a shower and silence. He unbuttoned his shirt, loosened his tie, and headed straight for the bathroom. But the second he opened the door, he froze. A woman in a housekeeping uniform was sleeping on his toilet? "What the?" he shouted, loud enough to shake the mirror. The woman jerked upright like she'd been electrocuted, arms flailing. "I didn't steal anything," she yelped, knocking over a mop bucket. Noah stumbled back, blinking at her. Eva blinked at him. He was shirtless and furious. And, annoyingly, incredibly good-looking. She raised both hands like she was under arrest. "I swear I was just cleaning, and then the toilet lid was there, and I kind of passed out." Noah stared. She stared back. It was the most awkward beginning imaginable, and yet something in his jaw unclenched. "You fell asleep?" he repeated flatly. "Yes, in my bathroom." "Yes," he exhaled hard, then crossed his arms and muttered, "Only at the Avalon." Ava's heart pounded like a drum solo in her ears. She tried to stand, but her leg caught the mop handle, sending it skittering across the floor like a possessed broomstick. Noah watched, arms crossed, face unreadable. The silence between them stretched until it wrapped around Ava's lungs like plastic wrap. "I swear I wasn't trying to live in here," she said breathlessly, pushing her tangled hair behind her ear. "I just needed 5 minutes. Well, maybe 15. My body kinda shut down, not voluntarily." Noah raised an eyebrow. "So my bathroom is your new break room?" Eva opened her mouth, closed it, and tried again. "Honestly, yes. I mean, no. Look, I know this looks bad." "Looks bad?" He motioned around him. "You're sleeping on a toilet in the most expensive suite in the building?" "I've walked in on less scandalous things at investor meetings." Eva sighed, clutching her mop like a shield. "Okay, do what you have to do. Fire me, yell, call security, throw me out the window. I get it." Noah didn't answer. He just studied her, this tiny, exhausted woman in a wrinkled uniform, standing in a puddle of soapy water, hair a mess, eyes wide with fear and defiance. And then he asked, "Do you drink coffee?" Eva blinked. "Excuse me? Coffee?" he repeated, walking past her toward the suite's kitchen area. "Do you drink it?" "Yes, but I don't think caffeine can save me now." He opened a cabinet, pulled out a mug, poured a cup from the fancy built-in machine, and handed it to her. "Try it." Still dazed, Eva took a sip, immediately grimaced, and pulled the cup away. "That bad?" he asked. "It's burnt. Over-roasted. Bitter. Like someone tried to mask it with cheap sugar." Noah narrowed his eyes, intrigued. "You figured all that out just by tasting it once?" She shook her head. "Didn't need to taste it. Smell told me everything. A silence fell between them. Then Noah chuckled a quiet, reluctant sound like he was laughing against his better judgment. "You're not what I expected." Eva snorted. "Neither are you." He took the mug back, set it down, and leaned against the counter. "Come back tomorrow," he said. 7 a.m.? Eva frowned. "To be fired in daylight?" "No," Noah said simply. "To help me fix breakfast." Eva stared at him like he'd just asked her to rewire the hotel's security system using only a paperclip and a spoon. "Wait. Fix breakfast?" she echoed, as if the words were in another language. Noah nodded, utterly amazed, if inviting a janitor to rework a luxury hotel's dining menu was completely normal. "Our kitchen's breakfast service is terrible. Guests complain. I've tried replacing chefs, upgrading ingredients. Nothing works." Eva raised a skeptical eyebrow. "And your solution is me." Identified 3 major flaws in 1 sip of coffee, he said. "That's more than our executive team has done in 6 months. She blinked. "Okay, but I mop floors. I don't run tasting panels. You don't need to." He pointed to the now-forgotten cup. "You have instinct. That's rarer than credentials." Eva folded her arms. "I'm not some Cinderella story waiting to be discovered, Whitaker. I just want to keep my job." "You're not being fired," he replied flatly. Yet her eyes narrowed. "So this is a test." Noah didn't deny it. "Let's call it an opportunity. You come in tomorrow, taste a few dishes. Tell me what's wrong. That's it." Eva glanced at the floor, then at him, then back at the floor. "Look, I don't know if you're messing with me, trying to get me to quit, or just bored," she muttered. "But I really can't afford to be the punchline of a rich guy's experiment right now." Noah's expression didn't change, but something in his tone softened. "You're not a joke, Morales. If I thought you were, I wouldn't be wasting my time." That stopped her. There was no flattery in his voice, just quiet conviction. And in that moment, Eva realized he was serious. And maybe, just maybe, that scared her more than if he'd screamed at her or called security. "Okay," she said finally, lifting her chin. "One morning, no promises. If Chef Deathglare tries to murder me, I'm out." Noah smirked. "Deal." As Eva wheeled her mop cart out of the suite, still soaking wet, and somehow both terrified and intrigued, one thought echoed in her head. What the hell just happened? Eva had faced angry guests, overflowing toilets, and once even a raccoon stuck in the laundry chute. But nothing could have prepared her for walking into the Avalon Grand's main kitchen at 6:58 a.m., where Hurricane in a white chef coat stood waiting. "Miss Morales," Chef Nakamura said without looking up from his clipboard. The janitor turned taste tester. Eva gave a tight smile. "Technically, I'm sanitation and linens. Taste testing is a recent promotion." The silence that followed was heavy with judgment, and the smell of overly toasted brioche. Dylan correction. Mr. Whitaker stood beside the chef, looking sharp in a navy button-up, coffee in one hand, expression unreadable. "Let's begin," he said simply. Chef Nakamura clapped his hands. "First dish, our signature scrambled eggs with truffle cream and brioche toast." A young sous chef set the plate down in front of Eva like it was sacred treasure. She looked at it, then at them, and back at the eggs. No pressure. She picked up a fork, took a bite, and immediately made a face. "Dry," she said. "Tova cooked. Texture's chalky, and the truffle cream tastes like perfume. It's not in a good way." A gasp erupted from one of the kitchen staff. Chef Nakamura's eyes narrowed. "Excuse me?" Eva wiped her mouth and looked him dead in the eye. "I said the eggs are dry and the truffle cream tastes like regret." Dylan choked on his coffee. The chef's jaw tightened like a vice. "Do you cook, Miss Morales?" "Nope," she said cheerfully. "But I eat every day, sometimes 3 times. Nakamura glared at Dylan. "You brought her here to insult my kitchen?" "No," Dylan replied, amused. "I brought her here to fix it," the chef scoffed. "With all due respect, this is ridiculous. I've trained in Paris, Tokyo. I don't take criticism from someone who stores bleach in mop heads." Eva crossed her arms. "And yet, your eggs are still terrible." The kitchen went silent again. Dylan stepped in smoothly. "We're running trials this week. Eva's palate stays. I suggest your ego steps aside. Chef Nakamura looked like he wanted to throw his clipboard into a pot of boiling water, but after a long pause, he bowed his head slightly. As you wish. Eva exhaled slowly. She was still alive, slightly sweaty, but alive. As she left the kitchen, her hands were still shaking. But so was the chef's reputation. By noon, Eva Morales had gone from that cleaning girl on night shift to the woman who made Chef Nakamura turn purple. And in the Avalon Grand, where secrets didn't last past the breakfast rush. That made her front page gossipette, least among the housekeeping carts and espresso machines. She sat at the chef's table, whispered Clara from laundry. With the CEO? Added Miguel from room service? In the main kitchen? Rena Lopez gasped, like in front of people. Maybe she's his cousin, or his mistress, or both. That's disgusting, Tom, Eva tried. To ignore it, she was back to folding towels on the mezzanine level, hoping that silence and lavender-scented linen would calm the tornado of whispers. But as she bent over the sixth towel swan of the day, Rena barged in like a caffeinated storm. Spill it, Rena said, eyes wide. Are you sleeping with him? Eva dropped the towel. Rena, no. Come on, Rena said, bouncing on the balls of her feet. He brought you into the kitchen. People don't even look at the kitchen unless they have Michelin stars. Or a death wish. What did you do? Eva groaned. I told the truth. The eggs were dry. Now, I'm apparently head of flavor assassinations. Rena leaned in dramatically. Okay, but did you see the way he looked at you during breakfast? Like you were a riddle he couldn't solve but really wanted to? Eva flushed. He looks at everyone like that? No. He looks at investors like they're spreadsheets. He looked at you like you interrupted his algorithm and now he has to rewrite his whole software. I'm not even sure what that means. It means, Rena said, pointing a manicured nail. He's interested. Eva shook her head. He's my boss. A terrifying, suit-wearing, emotionally unreadable boss. This isn't a rom-com. Rena, maybe not, Rena said, grinning. But someone's rewriting the script. And just then, Ava's phone buzzed. Noah Whitaker. Tomorrow. 7 a.m. again. Bring your honesty and maybe wear less bleach. Eva stared at the message. Outside, the hotel world kept spinning. But for the first time, she wasn't just keeping up. She was causing a scene. And she had no idea how dangerous that would become. By the third morning, Eva no longer tripped over her own feet when entering the kitchen. She still got a few side eyes. From the line cooks and an occasional scoff from Chef Nakamura. But no one dared say it out loud, not after what happened with the French toast. It started with a simple bite. Eva had frowned, set her fork down and said, "Something's off." Chef Nakamura had raised an eyebrow. "Elaborate." Eva tilted her head. "The bread's fine, but the batter is absorbing too much moisture. You're either soaking it too long, or the X2 milk ratio is off. You're using cinnamon, right?" Nakamura crossed his arms. "Naturally." "Yeah, well, cinnamon burns faster than it sweetens. And your griddle's too hot." The room had gone quiet. The chef didn't speak for a moment. Then he snapped his fingers at a sous chef. "Remake it. Lower heat. Change ratio. No cinnamon." 10 minutes. Later, when the dish returned, Eva took another bite and nodded. "This," she said, "is French toast that deserves a passport." That afternoon, the kitchen adjusted 5 recipes based on her feedback. By the end of the week, the breakfast menu had a new flavor consultant listed in the internal report, Eva Morales. She wasn't sure when it happened, when she stopped being the girl with a mop and became the girl with a palette. Maybe it was the first time Nakamura didn't interrupt her. Maybe it was when one of the pastry chefs quietly asked for her opinion on a new croissant recipe. Or maybe it was when Noah started watching her with an expression that wasn't just intrigued, but proud. Whatever it was, it terrified her. She didn't belong in this world. She didn't go to culinary school. She couldn't pronounce half the ingredients on the dry storage shelf. She still had bleach stains on her sneakers, but people were listening, and Noah was noticing. He wasn't flirty. He wasn't trying to charm her. He just showed up, asked what she thought, leaned in when she spoke, took notes. It was unsettling and strangely addictive. One night, after everyone else had gone, Eva stayed behind to test a batch of berry compote. As she adjusted the sugar levels, she heard footsteps. Noah. He walked in, loosened his tie, and took a spoon. "Taste?" she asked, offering it. He took a bite, smiled. "Perfect," he said. "Just like I expected." Eva stared at him, suspicious. "You're not just saying that because you want me to fix the oatmeal tomorrow?" He smirked. "That's part of it." Eva had just finished reorganizing the spice rack because apparently cayenne and cinnamon should not be next-door neighbors. Noah walked into the kitchen holding a folder and looking more serious than usual. "Can we talk?" he asked. She froze with a bottle of turmeric in one hand. "Am I in trouble?" "No," he said, then paused. "Maybe." Blinked. "Great. I'll just grab my mop and start running." He ignored her sarcasm and set the folder on the counter. Inside was a glossy brochure. Tokyo International Taste Summit. Invitation-only culinary conference known for showcasing the most refined palates and innovative chefs in the world. "Recognize this?" he asked. She squinted at the logo. "Isn't that the thing with the weird foie gras ice cream from last year?" "Among other things," he replied. "It's in 3 weeks. I want you to come with me." Eva dropped the turmeric. "You." "What?" "I want you in Tokyo," Noah said plainly, "as my guest, but also as my consultant." She stared at him, mouth open. "You mean fly halfway across the world, sit next to Michelin-starred chefs, and pretend I belong there?" "You won't be pretending," he said. She picked up the turmeric, trying to focus on something that made sense. "I'm a housekeeper. Noah, I clean toilets. I still don't know how to pronounce quinoa without panicking." He stepped closer. "And yet you've identified more culinary problems in 2 weeks than our executive staff has in 2 years? You've got a gift. I see it. The chefs see it. Even Nakamura grudgingly sees it." Eva let out a dry laugh. "Right. I'm sure he has my name tattooed on his arm by now." Noah smiled. "Come with me, you'll learn a lot. I'll cover everything. Hotel, flights, meals." She hesitated. Her brain screamed no, but her heart whispered what if. "What's the catch?" she asked, narrowing her eyes. "No catch," he said. "Just don't be late for the plane." She folded her arms. "And if I say no?" Noah raised an eyebrow. "I'll drag you onto the flight myself. You really don't know how to take no for an answer, do you?" He gave a slow smile. "Not when I know I'm right." Eva shook her head, half in disbelief, half in fear. "You're insane." "I know," he said, "but so are you. Otherwise you wouldn't be considering this." She looked at the brochure. Again, Tokyo. A world she'd only seen in documentaries and overpriced travel magazines. Was she really going to step into it? Apparently. "Yes, fine," she muttered. "But if I get arrested for accidentally insulting sushi, I'm blaming you." Noah grinned. "Deal." The moment Eva stepped off the plane in Tokyo, she knew she was in deep culinary waters. Everything sparkled. Everyone spoke in low, elegant tones. The hotel lobby smelled like citrus and money. She felt like a walking mop bucket in a world made of silk napkins and $900 tasting menus. The summit hadn't even officially started yet, and already she was surrounded by people wearing scarves that looked more expensive than her rent. Noah, of course, looked completely at-home, sharp suit, perfect hair, barely blinking when approached by chefs with Michelin stars tattooed on their egos. Eva, on the other hand, was doing her best not to trip over the marble floor. That evening, they attended a private tasting, hosted by a French-Japanese fusion chef whose name Eva couldn't pronounce, much less remember. She sat at the edge of a long, glossy table, filled with important people whispering in French, Japanese, and the occasional arrogant English. Eva smiled politely, praying no one asked her to comment on the vintage of the sparkling sake. Then came the first course, a spoonful of foam, garnished with a leaf so delicate she thought it might disintegrate from her breath. Eva took a bite. Her eyebrows lifted. Then she tilted her head. "Tastes like fish sauce. I regret." The man across from her, a London food critic wearing red glasses and an ascot, snorted into his wine. "Noah, Seated beside her, turned slowly, brows raised. Regret? Eva leaned in and whispered, "You can't just hide bad flavor behind fancy bubbles." The London critic leaned closer. "I like her," he said. The next dish arrived. Sea urchin over truffled rice with fermented chili foam. Eva blinked. "This one tastes like a dare." More laughter. People started to turn, curious. Now by the third course, Eva had gone from silent observer to unofficial table entertainment. But the twist. People were listening, not mocking, actually listening. And Noah. He didn't interrupt. He didn't correct her. He just watched with that unreadable expression of his eyes, locked onto her like she was the most fascinating thing. In a room full of culinary gods. After dessert, he pulled her aside on the way out of the hall. "You did good," he said. Eva scoffed. "Made fun of fish bubbles in front of 5 world-class chefs, and they loved it." She stared at him. "Are you sure this isn't a reality show prank?" He smiled, soft and low. "If it is, I'm glad you're the lead." Eva was doing her best to not touch the velvet walls of the Tokyo ballroom, partly because they looked wildly expensive, and partly because she still wasn't convinced this wasn't all a dream sponsored by overpriced cheese and jet lag. She had just excused herself from a group of sommeliers debating wine acidity when a smooth, familiar voice sliced through the noise. "Noah Whitaker. Still bringing surprises wherever you go." Eva turned toward the voice and immediately understood what. Intimidation smelled like expensive perfume and polished perfection. The woman standing in front of, been engineered by NASA. She oozed class, confidence, cold calculation. Camille. Arden, Noah's ex. Eva recognized her instantly. Not because Noah had talked about her, he hadn't, but because this was the kind of woman people like Noah were expected to marry. Camille turned toward Eva, her smile dazzling but hollow. "And you must be Eva," she said, offering a hand she hoped wasn't trembling. "I work with Noah." Camille's eyes flicked over her like a customs scan. "Of course you do." Noah stepped in. "Camille's in PR? We worked together years ago." Eva smiled politely. "I've heard nothing about you." Well, it wasn't entirely true, but it felt good to say. Camille's gaze didn't flinch. "That's probably for the best. Nostalgia is terribly overrated." Then, to Noah, "You're taking bold risks. It's quite the creative partner you've chosen." "It's working," he replied coolly. "Time will tell," she said with syrupy sweetness. Then turned to Eva one last time. "Just remember, this world isn't always as welcoming as it looks." That, Camille walked away, heels clicking like punctuation marks on marble. Eva exhaled only once she was gone. She's not the enemy, just the reminder. Of what? He looked at her. How fake everything here can be. Eva swallowed the lump in her throat. She suddenly felt the stares again. The expensive clothes, the polished accents, the whispered jokes. Camille didn't say much, but she didn't have to, Eva. It felt it. The weight of being out of place. The fear. That this wasn't real. That she was just passing through a dream that wasn't meant to last. Eva woke up to 37 unread messages and a sinking feeling in her stomach. The Tokyo sun was barely rising,
casting golden slants across the edge of the
hotel bed. But something felt off. Like the silence before an earthquake. Then Rena messaged from San Francisco, "Girl, check the news. Now." Eva opened the link. Headline: Who is the mystery woman traveling with billionaire hotel CEO Noah Whitaker? Photo of her and Noah walking side by side at the summit, his hand gently on her back. Her face turned toward him mid-laugh. The caption made her stomach twist. Story, or something more scandalous. Eva scrolled, and it only got worse. Anonymous quotes. Comments about her appearance. Tweets dissecting her outfit. Forums arguing whether she was a genius or a gold digger. And just like that, her worst fear had a headline. She wasn't just that girl in the kitchen anymore. She was now that girl sleeping with the boss. The knock on her door was soft. "Saw it," he said flatly. "Hard to miss," Eva muttered, hugging her arms across her chest. "I'll handle it." With what? A fire extinguisher? She snapped. Because this isn't just a spark. It's a wildfire. He stepped in, closing the door gently behind him. They want a scandal, we won't give them one. Eva laughed bitterly. Too late, you brought me here. You put me in rooms I never belonged in. Now I'm headlines, Noah. He softened. You do belong here. Tell that to the people calling me a cleaning lady turned call girl. Da-da-da-da-da. Silence stretched between them. Then Noah stepped closer. This is temporary, he said firmly. People talk, they forget. I'm going to make a statement. Eva looked up at him, eyes tired, and say what? That I'm your? What, Noah? He hesitated, for the first time. She saw doubt flicker across his features, and that hurt more than anything. You don't know, do you? She whispered. Noah didn't answer. Eva stepped back, arms wrapped tight around herself like armor. Then maybe that's the real problem. The invitation came by text. No name, just a location. Hotel bar. 3 p.m. Come alone if you want the truth. Eva knew exactly who it was. She almost ignored it. Almost, but curiosity has claws. Doubt knows exactly where to dig. At 2:59, Eva walked into the hotel bar. Dim lighting, jazz in the background. And Camille Arden waiting, already sipping something expensive and colorless. Well, Camille said smoothly, crossing one leg over the other. At least you're punctual, that's something. Eva sat across from her. Let's not pretend this is a courtesy call. Camille tilted her head. It's not. But I figured you'd want to know what kind of man you're defending in interviews. Eva stiffened. If you called me here just to throw shade, Camille slid her phone across the table. On the screen, a photo of her and Noah, candlelit. Dinner laughing, her hand on his, Eva's chest tightened. That was 6 months ago, Camille said, voice honeyed with malice. In Santorini, private villa, the press never got that one. Eva tried to stay calm. So what? You dated. You're both adults. Camille smiled. Oh, sweetie, he flew me there. Same way he flew you to Tokyo. Same charming smiles. Same. Soft words. You're not the first. You're just the latest. Eva clenched her fists under the table. Let me guess, Camille continued. He hasn't told you what you are to him yet, has he? Silence. Camille laughed softly. Exactly. Stood. If you think showing me an old photo will scare me off, you don't know me at all. Camille leaned back, unbothered. I know enough. I know this world. I know what happens to women like you who try to play in leagues they weren't invited to. Eva took a breath, steady and sharp. I know women like you. Beautiful, bitter, and so afraid of being irrelevant that you'll burn down anything that won't orbit you. Camille's smile faltered for the first time. Eva pushed the phone back across the table. Tell Noah he can explain when he's ready, not through you. Then she walked away, head high. But inside her heart was a thunderstorm. Not because she believed Camille, but because part of her did. Eva sat on the edge of her hotel bed. Phone in hand, thumbs hovering over the screen. Her suitcase was open beside her, half filled, half forgotten. She'd typed and retyped the same message 5 times, but this time she hit send. Eva, I think I should go. Thanks for everything. Tokyo was more than I ever expected.
But this
Isn't my world, and I don't want to keep pretending it is. She turned off her phone before she could see if he replied. She couldn't bear to. Outside, the city lights sparkled like they didn't care whether she stayed or vanished. And honestly, maybe they didn't. 10 minutes passed, then a knock, not soft. Not tentative, firm, controlled, familiar. She opened the door. Noah stood there, out of breath, suit jacket off, sleeves rolled up, and eyes blazing not with anger, but with something else. Determination, double quotes. You turned off your phone. He said flatly. Because I knew you'd come, Eva replied, voice quiet. Then why send it? She hesitated. Because I didn't want to wait for you to choose. Noah's brow furrowed. Eva, you don't owe me explanations. She cut in, stepping back. You don't have to fix this. I know what I am. Know what this looks like. Maid who got lucky. The Cinderella headline. The mystery woman in your photos. I didn't bring you here for luck, he snapped. Then why? Jess. His silence stretched too long. Eva folded her arms as if she could hold herself together that way. Camille said, I'm just the latest. That there'll be someone else next season, next summit, next spark. Noah took a step forward. Do you believe her? She didn't answer. He exhaled, like the weight of the entire city sat on his spine. Then, you want a label? Fine. Eva looked up, startled. You're the only person who's ever told me the truth without needing something from me, he said. You're the only one who challenges me, calls me out, makes me better. And yes, I've been with people before. But none of them made me rethink everything I thought I wanted. He stepped closer, now only inches away. You're not just a spark, Eva. You're the fire. Her heart. Stuttered. Noah searched her face. So if you want to go, I won't stop you. But don't go because of her. Don't go because you think I don't see you. Eva swallowed hard. I see you, he said softly. And I don't want to look away. The silence that followed said what neither of them could. And this time, Eva didn't walk away. She stayed. The press conference was Noah's idea. Eva had begged him not to do it. I don't need a spotlight, she said. I need space. Noah just shook his head, calm and resolute. This isn't about spotlight. It's about clarity. It's about truth. And I won't let you keep carrying the weight of their assumptions. Now, standing behind a row of microphones in a luxury hotel ballroom in Tokyo, Noah adjusted his cuffs and looked out at a sea of reporters, bloggers, critics, and cameras. All thirsty for blood. Our love story, he gave them both. Thank you all for coming, began, his voice steady, clear. There's been a lot of speculation over the past few days about me. About my relationship with someone the press has labeled a mystery woman. Few cameras zoomed in. Noah didn't flinch. Her name is Eva Morales. And yes, she traveled with me. Yes, she works for my hotel chain. And yes, paused, then smiled faintly. She's one of the most talented people I've ever met, whispers erupted. The room tensed. She started in housekeeping, he continued, unbothered. But what none of you knew is that she has an exceptional palate. A natural instinct for flavor that has already reshaped our entire culinary division. Her insight is sharp, her integrity sharper, and her impact immediate. Eva, standing behind the curtain, gripped the wall to steady herself. She wasn't brought here for romance, Noah said. She was brought here for excellence. The fact that I happen to care for her is a privilege, not a scandal. Cameras flashed wildly. Reporters scribbled. Someone in the back clapped and was quickly hushed. Noah leaned in slightly. And if anyone still doubts her place at this summit or in this world, let me be perfectly clear. She's not just welcome here. She belongs here. Silence, not awkward. Not uncomfortable, just stunned. Then dash applause. Real, hesitant at first, and steady. Sincere. Backstage, Eva covered her mouth, overwhelmed. Rena would probably tease her for crying later, but in that moment, tears were the only thing that felt honest. When Noah stepped off the stage, she met him at the side. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. She kissed him right there in front of everyone because there was no more hiding. Not from the world, not from herself, not from him. The moment the kiss ended, the ballroom erupted, flashes, gasps, some awkward applause, and a whole lot of speculation buzzing like electricity in the air. But Eva didn't flinch. She stood there, next to Noah, hand still gently resting on his chest, chin lifted. For the first time, she didn't feel like she was crashing someone else's world. She was building her own. The reporters chorused. Miss Morales, how long have you and Mr. Whitaker been involved? Did your position at the hotel change after your relationship began? Some say you're just a PR distraction. Care to comment? Noah looked ready to shut it all down, but Eva held up a hand. Calm, controlled. I've got this, she said softly. Then she stepped forward to the podium alone. I didn't come to Tokyo for fame, she began, voice steady, and I didn't come here to be in headlines. She paused, letting the silence lean in. I came because someone took a chance on me when I didn't even know I deserved it. I came because I love food, because I believe people with real, taste-real instinct can come from anywhere, even a housekeeping cart. That got a few chuckles, and even more nods. I didn't ask to be part of this story, Eva continued. But since I am, let me be clear. This isn't a scandal. This is work. And yes, it's personal too. But not in the way tabloids want it to be. She met the gaze of the reporter who had asked about being a distraction. I didn't distract. Mr. Whitaker, I challenged him, and apparently that's more controversial than I thought. Noah coughed into his hand, clearly trying not to laugh. A few reporters even smiled. Eva glanced sideways toward him, then back at the crowd. I don't have degrees. I don't have a trust fund. But I do have talent. I have taste. And I have something most people forget to pack when they reach the top perspective. And just like that, the room stilled. She stepped down from the podium without waiting for applause. But it came anyway. Noah was waiting at the edge, gaze warm and full of something deeper than admiration respect. You handled that better than I ever could, he said quietly. I learned from the best, she replied. He raised an eyebrow. Me, she smirked. No, Chef Nakamura. He laughed, pulling her close, but in her heart, Eva knew this time. She wasn't standing behind anyone. She was walking beside him. The kitchen was quiet, not silent the gentle simmer of miso broth. The occasional clang of a ladle, but calm in a way that felt earned. Like the world had finally taken a breath. Eva sat on a wooden stool, sleeves rolled up, sampling a new yuzu glaze that Chef Nakamura grudgingly admitted wasn't terrible. Across the counter, Noah leaned casually against the prep table, watching her with that same unreadable expression, except now, it wasn't unreadable anymore. Now she knew what it meant. Admiration, affection, maybe even something scarier than both. She looked up. You're staring. He smirked. It's my kitchen. It's not. You're just the guy who signs the checks. Exactly, he said. Which means I get to look wherever I want. She rolled her eyes, but her smile gave her away. She slid a spoon across the table. Taste this. Just tell me if it's too sweet. He dipped the spoon, tasted, then paused. You're not going to believe this. Eva raised an eyebrow. It's bad? No. He grinned. It's better than Nakamura's. From the other side of the kitchen, a low growl. I heard that. They both laughed. The laughter faded, replaced by a kind of soft quiet that wasn't awkward at all, just honest. Noah set the spoon down, you know. Before you fell asleep on a toilet in my suite, I didn't even remember what real felt. Like, Eva tilted her head, and now, stepped around the counter, stopping just in front of her. Now I remember. She swallowed, eyes searching his. Are we still pretending this is all about food? He shook his head. Not even. Close Eva stood, heart racing. Then what are we doing, Noah? He reached for her hand, gentle. Whatever you want. We go home, we figure it out. We build something that's ours. If you want it? She stared at him, eyes shining but steady. I do, she whispered. Noah smiled. Then no more hiding, no more running. Eva squeezed his hand. No more pretending. They kissed slow, certain, free from all the performance the world had forced on them when they pulled apart. Noah looked around the kitchen. Still smells like soy sauce and ego, he muttered. Eva laughed. Good, it'll keep us humble. Eva stepped back into the lobby of the Avalon Grand. She half expected someone to hand her a mop, but instead, concierge greeted her by name. Welcome back, Ms. Morales. Mr. Whitaker is expecting you in the executive lounge. She blinked. Ms. Morales. 3 weeks ago, she was the girl elbow deep in toilet cleaner. Now, she was wearing tailored trousers, a navy blazer, and a name tag that didn't say housekeeping. It said Culinary Innovation Advisor. She took the elevator up, nerves buzzing like overcooked oil. The executive lounge was sleek, glass-walled and filled with people in sharp suits and sharper tongues. But when Noah looked up and saw her, everything else seemed to fade. You're late, he said. Eva raised an eyebrow. We landed 10 minutes ago? He smirked. Exactly. She rolled her eyes and walked in. The staff around the conference table looked at her with polite interest and maybe a hint of skepticism. But Eva didn't flinch. She'd faced worse. She'd faced Camille in full designer armor. Noah gestured to the presentation screen. Eva will be leading Phase 1 of our breakfast program relaunch. Tokyo was just the beginning. Someone cleared their throat. With all due respect, Mr. Whitaker, a janitor. Eva smiled sweetly. With all due respect, sir. Try the new sourdough Benedict I developed last week. Then let's talk titles. There was a pause. Then the head of F&B leaned forward. You worked on that? It was surprisingly balanced. Imagine what I could do with your lunch menu, Eva replied. A chuckle rippled around the room. Noah leaned back, watching her, with something between admiration and amusement. After the meeting, they stepped out onto the rooftop terrace. San Francisco's skyline stretched around them, familiar and foreign all at once. You handled that well, he said. She glanced at him. So I'm not fired yet? Not even close. They stood in silence for a moment, the wind brushing her hair back, the city pulsing below. Then Noah turned to her. You know, I don't think you realize it yet. Realize what? That this he motioned around them is just the beginning? Eva looked at him at the city, the hotel where she used to scrub tiles and question her future, and for the first time, she believed it too. The air in Hakane was different. Crisper. Quieter. Like the mountains had learned long ago how to keep secrets. Eva stood barefoot on the Ingawa, the wooden deck of their private ryokan suite, wrapped in a soft robe and watching the sunrise melt into the misty hills. Below, steam curled lazily from the onsen baths. A crane skimmed the lake. The world whispered instead of shouted. It was peace. She turned as the shoshi screen slid open behind her. Noah stepped out, still messy from sleep, a tray in his hands, 2 mugs of green tea, and a small velvet box. Eva blinked at the box. That what I think it is? He set the tray down like it was just another Monday morning. Depends what you think it is. She narrowed her eyes. If it's earrings, I'll forgive you. If it's a paperclip, I'll be impressed. But if it's what I think it is, ... He opened it. Inside was a ring, simple, understated, with a brushed silver band and a tiny stone that shimmered like fog on water. No drama, no spotlight, just intention. Noah didn't kneel. He just took her hand and looked her in the eye. Eva Morales, said voice low. You walked into my life with a mop and ruined everything I thought I knew. You challenged me, embarrassed me, made me laugh at 3 a.m. in a Tokyo hotel kitchen. You made me rethink what success looks like, what home feels like. She swallowed hard, blinking fast. And I've spent my entire life building things, he continued. But nothing has ever felt more right than this. He offered the box. So, will you build something with me? Eva stared at him, at the man who once glared at her for sleeping in his bathroom, at the man who now looked at her like she was the most grounded thing in his universe, and she said the only thing that made sense. Yes. No scream, no dramatic tears, just a whispered word in the cool morning air. Noah slid the ring onto her finger, his hand shaking slightly. She leaned forward and kissed him, soft, slow like the sunrise behind them. The pregnancy test lay on the bathroom sink like it had secrets. Eva stared at the 2 pink lines, blinking once, twice, then again, because surely it was a mistake. It had to be, but it wasn't. She sat down slowly on the edge of the tub, its heart pounding, 2 lines, positive, double quotes. Oh my God. She whispered to no one. The Tokyo memories still lingered on her skin. The engagement ring still felt surreal on her finger. And now this? She was going to be a mother. Her phone buzzed. Noah, running late from the investor call. Want me to bring dinner? Eva stared at the message for a long moment before typing. Eva, yes. And maybe ice cream, like 5 tubs. He replied instantly. Noah, you okay? Craving or crisis? Eva, yes. 20 minutes later, he walked in holding 2 takeout bags, a worried expression and a pint of mint chocolate chip. Okay, he said, setting everything down. Either you're about to confess something, or I'm being tricked into an emotional trap. She handed him the test. Noah looked down, then back at her, then down again, then back up. You're... Eva nodded, still stunned. I guess. Tokyo left a souvenir. Silence. He didn't speak, didn't move. And for a second, her heart sank. But then he stepped forward, cupped her face, and kissed her forehead. Then her nose. Then her mouth. When he pulled back, his eyes were glassy. I'm going to be a dad? He whispered. Eva laughed through a tear. You're already acting like one. You brought me mint chip. He exhaled a laugh, pulled her into a hug so tight she thought she might break, and then whispered into her hair, You turned my life upside down, Morales. I've never been more grateful. Weeks later, the Avalon Grand's test kitchen was renamed the Morales Lab, not because of some PR stunt, but because Eva insisted on it being real. She still wore sneakers, still rolled her eyes when Noah got too serious, still tasted everything before anyone else. But now, she did it with a hand resting over her belly, and when someone asked her how she got here, how she went from maid to mogul in the making, she just smiled and said, I fell asleep in the wrong bathroom and woke up in the right life. No one expected a hotel maid to become a culinary consultant or a billionaire CEO, to be changed by a woman who once fell asleep on his toilet lid. But Eva and Noah proved that talent doesn't require a resume and love doesn't care about status. In a world full of assumptions, sometimes all it takes is one person who believes in you and the courage to believe in yourself. Their story reminds us that real love isn't loud, flashy, or perfect. It's honest. It grows in kitchens, behind curtains, in stolen glances, and quiet breakfasts. And sometimes, the messiest beginnings lead to the most beautiful chapters. You need to be born into the right world. You just need to create your own.